Good evening everyone, and welcome to ReinaMoe's DIY and It Designs. Today my focus is going to be on something that one of my subscribers helped me decide. She informed me that she's getting married in November, and her name is Classy Girl Creations. That's the name of her YouTube channel, Classy Girl Creations. And she shared with me that she's getting married in November of 2017 and what her colors were. And so with that, I came up with an idea of a wedding bunting. And I found at the Dollar Tree these paper pennants in white, and then this pink color, which happened to be part of the colors of her wedding. So I wanted to do a special project just for her and for her wedding. So we're going to be using these pennants to create the bunting. And also I went ahead and looked online, downloaded a font in calligraphy, because I love calligraphy. It's just so elegant to me. And so I've just printed out the letters that I needed. I'm going to do just married. And so then after I printed this out, it had to be on laser printing. Okay, the paper, it doesn't really matter what paper you use, but it has to be toner. Otherwise, the foil that I'm going to adhere will not transfer. So what I did was, since her colors are white and black, pink and gold, I went ahead and I made the graphic that I wanted, and I had them printed out with a laser ink onto black paper. And I don't know if you can see those letters there, but that's going to be transformed into gold foil writing once we're done. Now, I know that there are a lot of you out there that may not have the special Mink machine, which is used for gold foiling, or a Cricut or Cricut, whichever way you want to pronounce it. They have other machines out there as well, but I found this laminating machine, which is on and warm, at Aldi, and this is what it looked like inside the box. They also have the sheets that you can use to run through it to laminate, and that's what I'm going to use in order to gold emboss these letters. I do own the Mink machine, but I wanted to do this particular project to show everyone that you don't have to go out there and spend $100 if you don't have it to spend. You can go and spend $20 or $30 at Aldi, and you can come up with a very elegant product for your wedding, your birthday parties, whatever event it is that you have. So let's go ahead and let's begin. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my letterings and I'm going to cut those, and then we're going to come right back. So now I have cut out all of my letters, and remember, I got these letters printed off with the laser printer at FedEx Kinko's. I provided the paper because they no longer have the dark forms of paper. They do have a very light, I think it's called antique gray, but it just looked dirty and washed out. It did not it would not do this project justice, because there's no black to it. It's not even a dark gray. It really just looked really dingy. So now that everything's been cut out, I'm going to take my foil, and I know that Thermoweb iCraft makes a foil that will work, and you can find that at Hobby Lobby. You can find it at Michael's, should have it. I know they did not have Heidi Swap. They didn't have her brand when I went in there today. So I don't know that they were just out of it, because her section was very bare. She had 40% off going on, so it was very bare. But you just take your foil out of the package. Sometimes I feel like they make everything child-proof. So here there is a tiny bit of glue. It's a little sticker, and you have to be very careful, because you could actually ruin your whole piece of foil. So I think what I'm going to do is just work from the end. So once you have managed to open this package and get your roll of foil started, because it has a little sticky tab and it's really hard to get off, be careful because you will rip your foil if you're not careful. Go ahead and measure where your letter is so that you can cut off the appropriate length of foil. And so once you've done that, you would think that you would need to apply the foil this way, but if you do, it'll just be messed up and it won't adhere, because this is the side that's actually reactive, that works along with the toner from the laser printer to adhere the foil to your project. So you want it shiny side up, whatever color foil it is that you want to use. And then I am going to use just a simple piece of paper that I'm going to place the card in with the foil on top, okay? And then we're going to feed it through the machine. You do not want to force this into the machine. The machine has gears with teeth in it that will guide your paper through. So I'm going to administer it in through the machine. You can feel it, take it, and then just let it guide through. Now this particular machine has a hot and a cold setting. I'm using it on the hot setting. The window up at the top will be clear. When it turns red, that's when it's ready for it to be used. So as you can see, the back end of the paper is feeding all the way through the machine, through the rollers that adds heat like an iron, and it's coming out on the other end. You want to let it just do what it's going to do. Don't pull at it. Don't force it through. Don't push it through. Just let it flow. And once it comes out, if you feel like there's a possibility that the foil did not adhere, you can always put it through a second time. Me, I'm just the type of person where I always want to feed it through a second time. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay, so now I've gotten it out of the machine. There was an issue, which I told you sometimes it will get hung up in the machine. But the good thing about this particular machine is there is an ABS button. You just push it to the right, and then you'll be able to go ahead and pull the project out. So let's take a look and see what has happened. So now we have gold foil onto the black. Now I've taken away the foil and I have gold foil onto the letter. And you can see it got crinkled, but I can take an iron to that and just straighten that out. So now I'm going to go through and do this to all of the letters. So now that I have finished with all of my letters, the gold foil has been applied, I'm going to use these pinking shears in which to cut them out to affix them to the flag. Okay, so I'm here in the kitchen on the island so that I could go ahead and lay out the pattern. And what you see here is some 1.5 inch wide ribbon that's satin and black that I have taken an iron to and folded it in half, and I have ironed it flat so that there are two, it's a flap, okay? And then inside the flap I have placed the pennant triangles. Sorry about that shadow. All of the pennants have been placed, and you can see I have spelled out married and cut out with the pinking shears, and then the word just. So this is the basic design thus far. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use double-sided tape and attach the pennant triangles to the bunting cord that I have made, which is basically black satin ribbon that has been ironed to give me a top and a bottom portion so that the look on the back side will look. I'm putting the bunting together, and what I've done, I initially was going to use double-sided tape, and then I decided, let me try some Stitch Witchery because it's a fusible bonding tape. And number one, I can kill two birds. So here is the reveal of the final product. It says just married. You can see, I'm going to go closer so you can see the gold foiling. I don't know why it doesn't want to show so well, but there it is. So it says just married, and it ends with another pink flag, and that's the final reveal. In order to get the pennants to stay, what I had to do was I used Witch Stitchery, which is a fusible bonding. And paper, you can sew paper. So I figured, why don't I try the Stitch Witchery and see if it works, and it actually did. It fused it on both sides. So there's a piece of the fusible web here of the Stitch Witchery and also on the back. So I placed the pennant in between as a sandwich, covered it up, and then placed the iron on it, and it fused it all together. And again, there is the final look. It's hard to see, but the gold did transfer on everything. Really depends on the angle in which you see it, but I think it turned out really, really well. I'm very proud of it. If you like this project, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. And on that note, have a wonderful evening.